discuss the Battlefield 5 reveal today that was released to much acclaim and fanfare. I'm Mike Recca. I'm here with Oogie Boogie. Oogie Boogie, say what's up.
What's up?
And, we are just going to really discuss all the things that, all the information that was released to us today and see how we feel about it and, hopefully see how you guys feel about it. As always, please like and subscribe if you enjoy this podcast and if you enjoy the video. And let's just jump right into it. So, I mean, the first thing was really no shock to anyone that Battlefield 5 is going to be set in World War II. And they've dropped some hints in the last couple days that really kind of clued us into that. But how do you feel about that setting?
I mean, we haven't seen it in a long time. And I mean, like, haven't seen it in a long time. The problem with, like, other games that have tried it is that, for example, in COD, for example, Call of Duty is very small scale, tight knit, all C2B type, you know, I don't know, it's an arena style shooter. It doesn't capture the scale, and the size, and the how intense the war is. I mean, uh, World War II is where the franchise did start. They briefly went back in '09 when they introduced the 19 they introduced Battlefield 19 what's it called, Battlefield 1943, which
1943.
wasn't a
Yeah.
yeah, that wasn't a full game either. It was only like what, like five or six maps.
And that was very, that
And
was all about the
yeah,
Pacific. They didn't really go into anything
yeah,
in Europe.
it was a Pacific themed. It was an online only. It wasn't a full game really. And I mean, honestly, that's all we've had in the franchise since literally '02. So it's been a long time since we've seen World War II in any real length
Yeah, I mean,
in the
we've
franchise.
seen it a lot in other games, but we haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
other games, I
We
feel
haven't
like
seen
other
it
games,
on the large
especially
scale
on
warfare.
console, really, like there's a lot of games on PC, for example, like you have, most notably, there's Red Orchestra, which like really captures the war. But on console, like there hasn't really been anything. Just COD just COD World War II. Again, the campaign was, I feel like, very. It was a predictable game. It was good, not great. But then the multiplayer was just sort of like, I mean, it was, let's be honest, it was a travesty to, World War II. It doesn't capture what the war was all about. When you're running around a small map with no vehicles, no destruction, no intensity, it doesn't feel right. So the fact that we're finally gonna get that is something that I think everybody is glad that we're finally gonna get World War II the
Done
right way.
right. Yeah, yeah, we're going to get it
Um,
done right. And we're going to get it on the large scale warfare. We're going to get it on all the different fronts. It seemed like, they're going to explore every.
it seems the Pacific Front isn't there,
That's true. We did
but
not see that in the reveal. We did not see anything to do with the Pacific. But
and I should start.
you have to think that they're going to bring that in as like a DLC maybe later on. They're holding back.
I don't think so. It depends on the war story. See, I'm glad that they're going with that again because the campaign for BF1 was a pretty big improvement over the last few games. I mean, BF4's campaign was honestly terrible. Like it was just cringe central. Like if you can play through that game without cringing every 5 minutes, I'll be surprised. BF3 I thought was good. And the BC games got their own thing going. They're fun. They don't take themselves, they're not a serious game. That's the way I like it. But BF1's campaign, the fact that it followed multiple people across the war, fronts and such, was great. And they were short and sweet. I feel like this time around, some of them might be a little bit longer. I think we might see some that are like maybe up to 3 hours, maybe 4 hours long, for like the main, story that they're gonna follow. But nonetheless, I'm excited to see what they do. We know that they're gonna do the the Finnish what's it called? They're gonna do they're gonna do the Finnish the Resistance. Pretty sure there's gonna be an air based one as well. They always seem to find a way to squeeze it in there. I mean, even in one thing I didn't like about BF3 is that the jet mission in BF3 made no sense to the story. They literally just found a way to shove it in there.
Yeah,
But it was
yeah.
fun. It was cool. It didn't make sense to the story at all. It was literally, as I said, thrown in there. But it was a fun mission. And then, in BF1 we got more of that with what was it? Friends in what was it called?
I got to be honest with
Friends in
you. I didn't
I
even
think
really.
Friends in High Places.
I didn't play much of the single player. I'm all about the
Really? Oh, I
multiplayer.
liked it.
Yeah, I didn't even finish it through, so I can't speak
Friends in High
on.
Places was good. That one was I liked it. It wasn't. It was a more soft story. It wasn't as intense as the others, but it was fun. Um, and if we can get more of that, but less fun, more intense, I think will be a win. So what I was saying before that, what I was gonna say is that I thought the trailer was awful. I'm excited for the game, but that trailer was terrible. Like it was just too cheesy, had
It
a
was,
cartoony feel. Yeah, it was very
yeah,
cartoony, and like if you're trying to capture the intensity of the war, because World War II was just a massive war. It was the most destructive war in human history. Like more people died, more people were killed, more destruction came of that war than any other war in history ever. And that trailer was like, hey, this is fun. Hey, look, he has a neck tattoo, and what the fuck is all this trash? Like, it was just
did
stupid.
she
Like,
have the girl in it had like a fake hand or something? Or was I?
yeah, like that was a thing, kind of, but to be able to hold a weapon the way she did is kind of fucking
It
stupid. And
it
the
did
whole
seem
face
very
painting,
cartoony.
yeah, very cartoony. The whole face painting thing, and I mean, come the fuck on. Like you had a chance to just give us gameplay, just solid, grit-filled, intense World War II gameplay. You could have had like, a Tiger tank in there. It could have been really intense, and people would have been sold. But instead, you gave us whatever the fuck that was. Like, and I get it. They're trying to cash in on that whole Overwatch cartoony market. Fucking COD, was doing the same thing. I mean, the Black Ops 4 trailer was just as cheesy and weird. Like, you watched that trailer and you were probably thinking, it looks cool, but it's not Call of Duty. That's not what this series is. And watching this trailer was the same thing. I'm like, that's not Battlefield. Like, what is this? It's
Yeah.
not gameplay. So luckily it's not gameplay. So I feel like when we see gameplay, it's actually going to be what we want to see. Hopefully, the elites are gone. All the stupid shit is gone. I think the fact that you can tow around guns, like even for example, you can have a vehicle tow like an anti-aircraft gun to a spot that you want, and then you can build, you know, your defenses around it. I like that. That's cool. That's what we want. It changes, it changes the game. It makes you think, makes you have to adapt, and it's not some garbage shit that you just grab and have armor and just start mowing guys down that requires no skill whatsoever. It's none of that. So I'm glad they are moving back towards a skill-based game, a class-based game, more so than BF1 did.
Well, it
Because I feel like
certainly
BF1
seems
really fell
like
short there.
that's perhaps the way they're going. They talked about during the reveal a lot of different things that have never been introduced
Yeah,
before, such as
the
the
whole reveal
toolbox.
was the whole reveal was a joke. Like they should have just ran a trailer. Like you didn't need to have a presentation explaining what you're gonna do. Like just show us gameplay. Just show us genuine, intense, like gritty gameplay of World War II. Just that's what people wanted. They don't want to wait until the ninth. Like you gave us some cheesy trailer that like was just bad. It was bad. Like nobody watched that trailer. Some people thought it was awesome, but a lot of people who've been playing the franchise for like 10 years are like, "Wow, that was pretty shitty."
Yeah,
And
I
you're
mean,
not excited about the game. Like I want to be excited, but the trailer doesn't make you excited. The shit that like Cap and Jack Ryan basically told you afterwards, that gets you hyped. They did a better job of trying to advertise the game than EA did.
Well, let's
Because
talk a
EA
little bit
basically,
about what they went through in their presentation.
yeah,
Let's
because
talk.
obviously those
Let
guys are sponsored. They've played the game, they've
Yeah.
been involved with the alpha, so they've actually like seen what we haven't seen, and they've experienced it. So that's why I'll take their word. But I mean, as far as EA trying to make a point themselves, they flat out failed. I mean, wow, that trailer was a travesty.
It was certainly the low point for me. But some of the features that they spoke of,
Oh yeah,
I thought definitely seemed interesting. They talked about
yeah, that's
a
the
grand
thing. They
operations and grand
that's
operations.
that's my point. Is they talked about all these things that sound very intriguing, things you would love to see, and they didn't show you any of it. Like they hyped up that they're going to show you the game, and they announced all these features, and then they show you this cheesy fucking trailer that's not even gameplay. Like that's what I didn't get. At least with other games, when they hype up the game, they show you the game. Like when, I mean, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna see more than ninth. There's not that much to actually talk about because it's all mostly, it's like it's more of like but it's like more of like a, God damn, I can't talk today. It's it's more of like a speculation right now because we haven't actually seen it being played. So
No, no. I mean, definitely the fortification system they mentioned, that
yeah,
sounds cool to me.
that
That
sounds cool, and
you
I
can
like.
you can set up like a defensive area. I don't know
Yeah,
how
and
that's exactly going to
it's
work. Maybe you're going to
yeah.
set up
Apparently,
sandbags or
it's
something.
set places. Yeah, it's apparently set places, and only certain classes can put certain things in place. Like if you need machine guns, there's a class that can actually build a machine gun and such, and it generally don't go in a certain place, so it can balance. It can be balanced. I think it might also depend on the mode. I don't feel like that's going to be in every mode either. I feel like that's something that would fit into operations more.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be in every mode to an extent, but I feel like in the full extent, I feel like it's an operations type thing. I do like the fact that operations now is going to take place over multiple days, in theory, and that not obviously it's not actually going to, but it's going to take place over that time, and that if you like legitimately don't advance, it's just done. Like it ends. And
Yeah.
then they say the final round is basically you have like a single life on each side. Like that actually sounds cool.
And
Like
limited
the fact,
ammo. So you're going to be having to pick up,
yeah,
you kill people, you're going to have to be picking up their weapons and their ammo. So that's pretty cool in itself.
yeah,
Another
because
thing they talked about
operations,
was character customization, which has always been
yeah,
very limited in Battlefield. You've never really been able to customize the way your character looks. So this is completely
yeah.
new.
I'm just hoping they don't overdo it
I mean,
because the thing that really,
if I could make where my character looks a certain way, like give him a different nose and eyes, like almost like create your own character in like an
yeah,
NBA 2K type of thing. Okay, so
yeah,
everyone
that's
looks
cool.
different. That's cool. And you give them maybe a tattoo or two, not going anything overboard crazy with it. Like that could be fun where every soldier on the battlefield just their facial features look different. That could be really cool. Um,
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I hope they don't overdo it. Like, keep it somewhat grounded to the way the war was. Because and I know people are gonna try about it, but in COD, for example, COD, World War II, you had women, they were black women playing for the Germans. I'm like, let's be honest, the Nazis are fucking racist pieces of shit. Like, that would never fucking happen ever. Like, don't shit all over history. Like, yeah, all right. So customizations, being able to change your fucking character and give them maybe a tattoo or two, or you know, Things like that are cool. Like, the uniform, maybe change it up a little bit, the weapon and such. That's cool. We want that, but don't overdo it to the point where it's just like, okay, this is just a fucking joke now.
No,
Like,
it's got to be historically accurate for me,
yeah,
you know.
at least grounded. Like, there
Yeah.
has to be. It doesn't go so far. I feel like. I feel like the women are going to be a faction type deal because the Finns, obviously Russians. There were women
Yeah.
in those forces. There were none in the United States whatsoever. Period. Germans not until they started to fall apart and they were just forced into it. So I'm just hoping they don't go full, social justice and just be like, look at that, just suddenly black women fighting for the Nazis, even though they
Yeah.
would have been totally treated like fucking shit and probably thrown in a concentration camp because they're inferior race. Fuck them. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you can't do that shit because then you can't claim you're historically accurate. It's like that's what COD did. They're like they're like, we're like 96% historically accurate. And they're like, yeah, sure. There's not a single fucking swastika in your entire multiplayer game. Like, come
Which
on.
we might not see. We don't know.
Yeah, and I get it. I get that you can't sell the game. The German version because of that.
Mhm.
But I think Wolfenstein had the right approach. Wolfenstein just made their game a mockery for the German version. They just took out, the Hitler mustache and changed the swastika and made it like a triangle. But they're just like, fuck you, we're gonna do what we want. But I feel like EA will kind of fold, just like Activision did. And like, all right, well, I guess you're not Nazis, you're just Germans, even though you killed 9 million people in cold blood because they were inferior in your minds. It's just pretending that never fucking happened. I kind of have a problem with that because the only way to not repeat history is to keep letting them know how bad they fucked up the first time or the
You know,
second time. But
one thing they didn't mention at all is the platoon system, which we've grown to
um,
love. And I mean,
it's there still. It's still going to be there.
they kept
I do
mentioning
like.
companies, so maybe they're calling
Yeah,
them companies
they
now.
might just change the name. Yeah, it might just be that kind of deal.
And
Which, I
maybe
mean, honestly, I don't
maybe
have an
they're
issue
going to
with.
allow us to have more than 100 people in a platoon. Hopefully, they upgrade it a little bit, because 100 they limit you to 100, and that's kind of lame. It
I
should
mean,
be
I'll be
really.
honest. Most teams don't need to be that big.
But you'd be
I'm
surprised.
not.
You get
Listen,
that big
I'm
pretty
not gonna
quick.
be a bad person here, but most of the teams who have 500 people are not particularly good at the game, and for whatever reason, struggle to find 12 people on a consistent basis, which I don't understand how you can have 500 people and not be able to pull 12 consistently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly
So
if
I
you're a
think
competitive team, you don't need
I think there's a
500 people.
limit. There needs to be a limit. I feel like just for the sole fact that at some point you're overdoing it, and it seems like you're going to be able to like assign roles. Like, how like in incursions there's like set classes, and you can basically fill in. I would like. There's a game on like all right. So there's a PC game that I like. It's it's called Insurgency, and in Insurgency there's set classes. There's only a certain amount per team, so there's slots, and there's like for example the assault. There's like 5 assaults available for each team, and then 1 sniper and like two support. And once those slots are filled, they're filled. You have to choose some other class that's available. And incursions obviously works that way, but the other half of it is that you can only choose the weapon that your faction has. So there's a list of weapons that you can use that are faction based. I would love to see that in a Battlefield game. Finally,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how
Absolutely.
it used to be. If you
I
remember
was
some
gonna
of the
say
older games, like
we've
BF2,
had
like
that before. Yeah.
Battlefield 2. That's how Battlefield 2 was. You didn't see Americans running around with fucking with fucking AKs and shit. It was faction based.
I
You
believe
ranked up. You still
BF3
ranked up
was
your
the same
weapons.
way. Certain if you were on a
Um, was it?
I believe
You might be
so.
right.
I think like the
It,
M16 you could only use if you were American.
was that initially though? I
Maybe
thought
that
that
was
got changed.
initially. Maybe you're right,
But
but
yeah, that's how the franchise was back in the day. Like especially with 1942 in Vietnam, it was all faction based. You ranked up your weapons as you played as that faction. But now you see people, like for example in BF1. I mean, listen, Americans are not going to run around with German weapons. It's not going to happen. Like uh, if we can just get that back, that'd be great. It
as
would
long
be
as they're
more
balanced,
grounded.
as long as
Yeah,
the
again,
German and let's say the British weapons
I know
are
people are
are
like,
equal.
the MG42 is overpowered. Well, it was, but the American weapons as a whole were vastly superior to anything the Axis powers had, or any of the other allies. I mean, let's put it this way. A Lee Enfield rifle. It's a bolt action rifle. It's got a decent amount of ammo. It's got it's it's that's it's a 10-shot rifle, but it's still bolt action. And the M1 Garand, which was you could just feed a clip into it real quick, could fire off 8 rounds rapid fire accurately. The BAR had a large magazine, fully automatic. The Thompson, the Grease gun. The American weapons were just vastly better than anything anybody else had. So balancing is going to be kind of hard. I mean, um, I feel like the Germans had an advantage at ranged attack because the 98K is a high power weapon. That thing hit like a mule. The MG42 could take down an entire squad with the ease at range. So I think they need to balance it based on what each faction pretty much did really well. So the United States, all of our weapons were mostly, honestly, designed for more close range. You know, versus the Germans who were always trying to be either super aggressive or pushed back, had mostly ranged weapons. So I would like to see that. I like to see them find a way to balance it out. I think the SMGs you can balance out a bit
Yeah.
easier than the rifles. M1 Grand's probably going to be, I would say, I mean, if it's not a two-shot kill, there's no point. Um, the
Let's
sweet
talk.
spot's probably going to
Let's
be
switch
back
from weapons and let's. They did show us one.
for the vehicles.
Well, they showed us the vehicles, but one thing I took a little bit of notes here, and one thing I wrote was a player jumped on his back and was shooting while he was like sliding backwards. So, we had the slide mechanic in BF1 that then they nerfed, but it looks like they've added some different type of movement mechanics in this new one, such as the player sliding backwards and shooting. So that's going to add like a whole different element to the
I'm
gameplay.
curious to see how that plays out. I do like the fact that if somebody on your team dies, I think it's only for your squad though. If a squad member dies, you can drag them like away, and then you can heal them. Then that's nice. So you don't have to get revived in like machine gun fire constantly, where
Yeah.
you just get revived and die fucking immediately. So now you can drag a dead corpse away and then heal them. I'm wondering if there's mechanics for wounds, like if you get shot in the legs, you get knocked down, and maybe that's why you would have to pick, you know, pick a guy up and take him away to have him healed. That'd be cool. That would make sense. You see that in other games, like Arma and games like that. I did hear that now you can heal everybody, but obviously, um, unless you're
Well,
certain classes don't do it as fast or something. I don't know. It's weird. Um,
also, they're gonna let
Again,
every class reveal. I mean, revive.
they did say that when you drop a box now, like a crate, it doesn't just work. You actually have to interact with it. So you actually have to go up to the crate and like press a button, and then like you would take like ammo or take your meds, and then the meds you actually have to apply. which that I like because it adds a time factor, it adds some
Yeah,
skill
you're
to the
gonna
game.
have to definitely put that crate somewhere that's like kind of tucked away
Yeah,
out of the
it
line
adds
of
more
fire.
skill. I feel like that does add a lot more skill to the game where you actually have to take the time, to heal yourself. I would like to see with vehicles, like how in BF1 you had to jump into a vehicle, like actually climb into it, but then when you jumped out, you just flew out of it.
Yeah,
I want to see that, but with both, where you have to climb into a tank and climb out of it. Because let's be honest, you can't just morph out of a fucking tank. How many times, honestly, have you disabled a tank and you're about to fucking destroy it, and this cunt just fucking morphs out
chunks
of it and
out.
shoots you? Yeah,
Yep,
just shoots you.
and it
Like
throws
it's fucking
a grenade
stupid.
at you or something. Uh,
Yeah,
it seems
I
like a
would
lot
like
of
to
the things
see
that you're
them.
looking for is more realism. And I gotta say, based on that trailer we saw today, I don't know if that's the direction they're gonna be
Yeah, no,
going or not.
we didn't see it in the trailer, but then all the shit we've heard afterwards says all that. So
Yeah,
that's what I meant. The trailer did a piss poor job of representing what the game is going to be. So
let
like, Jack Frags and all these guys are talking about all these things that we can do and how like, you have to interact with crates and you can drag people who are dead and heal them and this and that. How it's all skill based, it's more grounded. And then the trailer was the polar opposite.
yeah.
Like it's
We have
just
someone watching the stream here, Jon Snow. He said, "What's up? What's going on?" Um, I think
Jon Snow is
one of the most, I
he's a
think
fly
probably
boy.
the most exciting thing in that whole reveal was absolutely no more premium pass.
Well, yeah, let's be honest, premium didn't come until BF3. I mean, I remember with BC2, for example, if you bought the game new, or if you bought the game new, you got like, if you bought the game new, you got a VIP pass. So all of the maps and shit was free.
Hmm.
If you bought the game used, the VIP pass was like $10. That's it. It was
Yeah,
10, not 50, not 50, $10. So I remember I bought the game used. I bought it like a month after it launched, and I bought the game used, and then I paid $10. I got VIP, and bam, I'm playing all the new maps.
well,
It's the
think of
way
it
it
this way.
should
Think of
be.
it.
So I feel
I
like if you buy if they are gonna add it, I feel like that's the exception they will add. That if you buy the game new, it's all free. I
I
feel
mean,
like if you buy it used,
think of it like applying to us. Like, we play in tournaments. We play
yeah.
competitively. We have the Win or Die tournament league,
And it's
and
hard for us to have all the maps because there's no guarantee that all the
yes,
players
we can
competing
only
have
use
them.
the vanilla maps, but now with no premium, every map that's released, we can incorporate
Um,
into the tournament, into the
yeah, the
competitions.
other half of it that seemed to be pretty clear is that the standard expansion packs are gone in favor of more of like how like Overwatch, it's kind of like a season-based game where for these amount of months we bring you these maps and these modes and you get this and that. I feel like it's going to work like that. So it's not going to be a set like, hey, in February this expansion is out, and then in April this. I feel like it's going to be more over a period of time. We're going to see more shit, which I'm okay with that because clearly with BF1 they struggled to get things out on time. I mean, it's like when people were like, "Ew, I don't think just released the entire game at once," with all the maps. So clearly, I mean, half of these expansions weren't even completed yet. You could see alpha footage where the textures aren't even in place.
Oh
So
yeah,
the
clearly, and
season
then
format, yeah,
th-
the
there.
season format makes sense. So we're gonna get a lot of content over like, you know, let's say like season one, we're gonna get like two like expansions of maps and weapons and modes, and that'd be cool. Um, Something I definitely want to see. I know this probably hurts us a little bit and hurts Tier 1 and ESB. Give us internal clan ladders. Like EA, host a tournament, please. Like so many games do this. Why
I
can't
mean,
you?
it is a huge missed opportunity for them. The fact that we have to create these leagues on the side
Yeah, I
because they
mean,
don't
like,
have it in game. It's always shocking to me that they don't just take that by the reins. And it would be, it seems like it would be something that would be simple for them. They could even have a mechanic
you
where,
have.
You
Yeah, you
bring
have a platoon system in place already. Like, you know, you can just expand on that.
you know,
And so many
you could
games
have
do it.
so, you could have, let's say, a team, they all log into, let's say, like a tier 12 lobby, right? And then another, and it will match you up with any other team that has 12 players going, and you
Yeah, it
guys
should
face off.
allow. They could build like how like virtually every comp game out there, and incursions is no exception. You have your bronze, your silver, your gold, platinum, diamond. Have it like that, but for certain modes, like have ranked, where a clan of 12 people can load into a server and get matched up against another clan of 12 people at random. Just the way it works in five v five, same way except with 12 people,
Yeah,
and have teams build rank and basically have like a qualification the way they do in some other games where teams have to build a rank in order to get into a bracket, and then there's a qualification bracket, and then once you get through there, you enter the actual main stage. You know,
yeah. And then they could always
that'd be
even do
cool.
live events,
Uh,
and you get
what's it called?
invited based on that. But you know,
Killzone
there's
used to do it that way.
I'm definitely excited to see the June 9th multiplayer release, because that's why we buy the game, and you know that's what I want to see. So, you know, we've got that's coming right around the corner. That's coming up soon.
Yeah, it's not long. It's like what, about 2 weeks? Nah, maybe three, but still, it's not a long time. I just, I'm excited hearing, like we said, when Jack Fries and Cap and all these guys release their, what they've played and such. That all sounded awesome. Like, it sounded fantastic. I'm like, yes, that is great. And then you watch that trailer and you didn't see any of that, and it was just
Well,
like the
did we get
opposite.
a date for the early beta?
No beta date. Generally, September is when they usually do it.
I know
Maybe
they mentioned
August.
early access to the
August.
beta if you pre-order.
Yeah, they didn't announce when yet.
Because I'm
I guess we'll
definitely
see.
looking to jump right into that. I mean, as soon as it's available,
I
pretty
played the
much.
BF1 beta. I played that. That was a PC play for me. I played that on PC, so I didn't actually touch the console version until I actually bought the game. Um, Generally, it betas do run better on PC just because you don't have all the weird, performance issues because the console optimization isn't really there yet. But no announcements. August is probably honestly when we'll see it.
Yeah,
I feel like
that sounds like it would be right.
that's
Um,
what they've done for all their games. I mean, the BF4 beta I think was about the same. BF3 beta was the same. So, um, not Bad Company though, because Bad Company that launched in that was in May or March. No, that was in March. So the game
all
was
right.
in March.
Well, when the multiplayer drops, we'll definitely do another podcast discussing what we see, in that trailer.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much to go by. I mean, most of the details we learned about, like, all came from Jack. If they announced a few things, and you watch that trailer, you're like, all right, so Battlefield 5 is gonna come. Guess we have to wait till the 9th to actually see the game. Like,
Well, it's funny you say that,
it,
because Jack Frags is actually, I one of the we're trying to have him come on the show, but we're working on a few
that'll be
different.
hard. He doesn't just do this game. He's not a console guy either.
We have spoke to some pretty big YouTubers already that actually are
Like
on
who?
board
Like
to
who
come on.
have
Well, I'm
you?
not gonna reveal that yet until they're locked in, but
Oh, true.
definitely some people that are interested in coming on and discussing some Battlefield with us, and we're looking forward to that. And I don't
I
want
do
to.
think, however, that we should expand. You know, I mean, PC is bigger. Honestly, I feel like Battlefield has taken a hit on PC because Origin is just not a popular service. I'll be honest. I mean, I'm a PC gamer. The only reason I play Battlefield on PlayStation is because Origin is a huge hunk of shit. So it's a whole. There's a community of people who just
Well,
genuinely
if you look
will
at the
not play the
statistics,
game on PC. Yeah,
the
it's
most
just
people
like,
play on
well,
PS4.
but not because they want to, just because they refuse to play on Origin. Because BF3, you know, BC2, obviously BF2, all those games sold significantly better on PC, had significantly more people playing on PC than console. It didn't change until Origin became the only way to play it on PC. Origin is awful. I mean, it's bad. I mean, Uplay is the only thing that's worse, but Ubisoft at least learned their lesson and said, "Hey, you don't need to buy the games on Uplay anymore. We sell on Steam now," and then their sales went up, then some. So, I feel like if Battlefield 1, I mean, if Battlefield 5 bombs on PC again, EA is going to have to figure out that nobody likes Origin. Because like we talk about here, you know how all these people, they complain about people using Zim 4s and such, using a mouse, and a lot of those guys are PC players. Like, they're playing on console for the same reason that I am. Now, I have a PlayStation because I like PlayStation's exclusive games, but I only play Battlefield on PlayStation because of Origin. I'm not going to play Battlefield on PC because of that shit. It's unstable, it crashes.
Well,
It
I
has
actually
problems all the
heard.
time.
Now, tell me if this is true that you are going to get Battlefield 5 for the Nintendo Switch.
What?
That's
They
a
didn't even
joke.
announce a Nintendo Switch port.
Nah, I'm sure it's
I
absolutely
figured it
not
was a
coming
joke.
out for that, but you know,
It
uh,
could. I mean,
you,
you never know.
I'd be
It could
shocked.
be scaled down.
I'd be
It could
shocked.
be. Yeah, no, it's not. Um, but like I was saying, though, a lot of these players who are playing with Zims are playing because they're PC players at heart. They're not playing. They're not using the shit to necessarily get an unfair advantage. Not all of them. It's just what they're used to playing. They're just used to playing with a mouse. I mean, I'll tell you, when I'm playing games on PC for a long, I remember I was on a binge at one point. I was just playing the same game on PC for a long time, and then I got asked to play a comp match on BF1 on console. And my God, listen, you come from playing with a mouse to playing with a controller, imp- like impromptu. Oh my God,
Well, it's night and day. You know,
shit,
when I watch
shit the bed. I couldn't
footage
even
of
shoot.
PC players, their aim is just insane. You know,
Well, because it's more accurate,
it's incredibly more accurate.
but Battlefield was a PC franchise for the longest time, and EA, like they've done with a lot of things, have found a way to fuck it up. So, like, you know, uh,
Well, Battlefield was
I
always a PC franchise, but then their introduction into the console was with Bad Company, and Bad Company was supposed to be like
yeah,
a consoleized version of Battlefield.
yeah.
So what you expected was more Bad Companies to come out for console.
Well, I love that. Listen, if let's just say, let's say Dice Los Angeles, for example, is working on BC3, and
Hmm.
it comes out. Let's say it comes out. Let's say that's a 2019 release. I'll never touch that. I'll never touch 5 again. I mean, that's pretty much how it be. Like, Bad Company 2 was just such a good game. Like,
Bad
it
Company
was.
2 was my favorite Battlefield
Yeah,
game,
it's so.
and
There's so many people who are new to the franchise. They don't like Battlefield 1's the first game they played, and if not, they played like BF4 late in life. They never got to play that game in its prime. They don't understand how destruction could absolutely change the
oh,
entire game. The
everything would be
entire game.
flattened.
The pacing. Yeah, like by the end of the average game of Rush, just remember, Rush and Bad Company 2 was actually fucking
It
fun
was
and not
Rush
this
was the best
boring
mode, yeah.
snore fest that it is in BF1 because they changed the maps. Like when there would be an MCOM in a house and you could literally level the house with a tank or just explosives and destroy the MCOM, it made you have to think as a team. You couldn't just hide and burrow yourself in the house to defend the MCOMs like you can in BF1. Yeah, you can blow
Yeah.
the walls out, but there's still a shell, a
Hmm.
remnant of that house in BF1. In Bad Company 2, that wasn't the case. You could level the entire house to rubble and it would collapse. So you had to defend, you had to push out and defend the area. Like you had to build like a defensive wall around flags to prevent teams from flanking you and destroying the house and taking the MCOM with it.
And
And the other part of it
has there
was
ever been a better DLC than
in the
Battlefield
Vietnam
Vietnam?
expansion.
I mean,
Fuck
that
no.
was like its own
Hell
separate
no.
game. It was like a
And
completely
it was still that, yeah, mechanically it was the same, but it was just so refreshing. Like,
all new
and
vehicles,
it
whole
was,
new setting,
yeah, right.
everything, all new weapons, new
The maps were
character
great.
skins.
Yeah, the maps were great.
I actually liked Battlefield Vietnam, the BC2, DLC, like as more than the base game, I think. At least for a
I
while I
liked it more
did.
than base game, but I definitely liked it a lot. It was it was a good change of pace. But like back to what I was saying before, though, like in Rush, the maps, the Conquest map and the Rush map weren't identical. Like the Conquest map was in the Rush map, but then the Rush map extended outside of that and went multiple areas more. And every set of MCOMs changed. Like you would, like for example, I remember Erica, for example. Erica, you would start at like a fort with walls, and you had defenses, and it was like a fob, and then after that, you pushed down into a town, and you had an MCOM in. One was like in a was in like a concrete structure that couldn't be destroyed, and you have to rush in there, but you could blast it with explosives. Because remember, you could blow up MCOMs, then you could damage them with explosives. A bit, it took a lot, but you
Yeah.
could do it. Then the other MCOM was in a house that you could take down, so you had to find a way to defend those. And then after that, you pushed into like a bridge area, where there was a bridge. There was one on the bridge, and then one like in a house. And then after that, you pushed into like a port. And then from a port, it just kept going. Like it changed. In other maps, you saw a point where it's like you're
You,
you're in a jungle, you're uphill, you're in towns, you're out open. Like the gameplay changed. Your strategy had to change as you progressed through the map. And again, the destruction was chaos. Like you could level the maps. Like
and they had jet skis. I
forest.
mean, what's better than
Yeah,
that?
the forest. Like I remember playing Rush, and we were on the high ground, and there's like a jungle. Like they have like one road and then some small routes to flank on, and it's just jungle. Like it's just vegetation up the ass, and we just took machine guns and explosives, and we leveled it. We deforested the fuck out of that shit, and left them open and exposed, and they just had to find a way to charge up an open hill with no cover whatsoever. So they started to spam smoke, and it just worked.
So
Like
let's hope that Battlefield 5, since we're going to get some different settings and locales, let's hope that maybe we get a little bit of that. We're reminiscing a
make
little bit.
Rush great again.
Make Rush great
Make,
again.
make Rush great again. His operation sucks.
I don't want to go too long here. I think we're about at the limit here to kind of sign off, and we will definitely do another one of these for the
Yeah, I mean, once we see the game,
once we
like
see the
actually see it.
multiplayer. We'll do it hopefully that same day, and also I plan on doing another podcast in the next day or two or three
The
on
single player I really want to see myself because Battlefield One's campaign was actually good. Um, you know the 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 fact that it followed multiple people and multiple you know factions across the war, and the fact that they're doing that again is great. So I'm actually like excited to see that. I feel like on the 9th we're gonna see everything because they didn't say it was just multiplayer. We're probably gonna get a little bit of everything, and then
well yeah.
E3 we'll probably see more. So
It's going to be come out in stages. We're going to get more and more info as it goes on, But definitely, thank you for tuning in. If you liked it, please hit the like button and please subscribe. Oogie, thank you for co-hosting with me, and
always.
we'll see you guys soon. Later.